Well, they were supposed to be the silver bullet solution to the dangling Chad and butterfly ballot mess that was the presidential election of 2000. But now there is concern electronic voting machines might be easily rigged, and an election could be stolen by clever hackers. That's the conclusion of some computer scientists at Princeton who looked at one machine, the Diebold AccuVote TS. Princeton researcher Edward Felton joining us now to demonstrate all of this. Good to have you with us, Professor Felton. This is the machine that you looked at. You didn't look at any others, just to be clear, right?
Right,
so
this is the one we looked at.
can't speak for all voting machines, but this is the most popular of them all.
It's one of the most popular,
One of the most popular. Okay, so let's try to go through it as quickly as we can, giving people a sense of how easy it would be to hack this.
Okay,
right?
Well, let's have an election.
Okay, why don't
you can
we?
vote first.
Okay, so everybody gets a card. You put a card in. Okay. And yeah, I can barely stick the card in. Okay, we got the card, and pretty soon it's going to show us a couple of choices for
first
choice. We hit start. I can do that, and it's either George Washington or Benedict Arnold. I'm going to go with George Washington.
Good choice.
No, he's not a traitor. And there we go. We go next, and then I'm going to cast my ballot. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward.
Yes. Now your first vote is recorded on the electronic memory inside the
Okay, all right.
machine.
So now let's
vote
do
again,
another one.
please.
I get to vote again. We're going to pretend this is like Chicago. You get to vote again and again. No, just kidding.
Only three.
So we start, we do that, and I'm going to vote for George Washington again. Pretend I'm a different person. We go to the ballot, cast the ballot. Okay.
Go.
All right. And we'll do one more. Should I vote for Benedict Arnold once?
You can vote for George Washington again.
I'll do George Washington one more time. And people are given these cards as they come into the polls, right?
That's right. You check in at the front desk and get a card.
Okay. And then off we go. And those cards get reused? Is that how it works? Or?
They can get reprogrammed later.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so I voted now 3 times for George
Washington. Voted 3 times, and now let's say this is the end of the election.
Okay.
And the poll worker will come up with a special other kind of card, which belongs to a poll worker, and stick it in. And now I'm going to tell the machine to end the election.
Okay.
I put in the secret PIN, which is 1111.
Not a secret anymore.
Not a secret.
No.
Well, it really wasn't one before.
Yeah.
And in a minute, I'll be able to print out a result tape, which I tell it to end the election.
Okay.
And I'm going to print out a result tape which shows the results.
Okay, so while we're waiting for that to come out, and that should print the report there.
I can start it now.
Okay.
And I can talk about what happened here.
Okay.
Every time you cast a vote, the vote was recorded on the internal memory of the voting machine in 2 places.
Okay.
But after you voted, the computer virus came along and changed those memories so that your votes were moved from one candidate to the other. And when we look at this result tape, you can see it's Benedict Arnold 2, George Washington 1.
Okay, so the virus has done its job. You saw me clearly vote for George Washington 3 times. Benedict Arnold just won this election. Let's get into the guts of this thing and show me what a hacker would have to do to make that happen. How hard would that be? First of all, where is this memory card that is so crucial?
The memory card is behind this little door on the side of the machine. It's behind it uses a key that's a standard file cabinet key.
Okay. So
and we get this open.
Right.
And then we can pull out the memory card that's in there.
So anybody who's used a PC card in their
PC
computer.
card, right. This, in fact, this is something that you could use in a digital camera.
Okay. And that card, so in other words, if you could get access to that with a typical file cabinet key, easily pickable kind of lock,
yes,
and you had a card that was tainted,
right,
you could
stick the card in, and as soon as you stuck the card in and rebooted the voting machine, it would be infected with the virus.
All right, but you would have to do this because these are they networked?
They are not networked.
Okay.
No.
You would have to do this to an awful lot of machines to really...
You could do this to an awful lot of machines, or you could infect one machine, and then before the election, when the poll workers are setting things up for the vote, they actually move memory cards from one machine to another, and they may propagate the virus to a lot of machines.
So there's kind of a sneaker net to all this.
Kind of a sneaker net, and unfortunately, it's the poll workers themselves trying to get the election set up who are the biggest risk for propagating the virus once it's in there.
Diebold has had some response to this, as you might suspect, your study. A couple things they say. This is from Dave Bird, the president of Diebold Election Systems. He says this: normal security procedures were ignored in your study. Numbered security tape, 18 enclosure screws, and numbered security tags were destroyed or missing so that the researchers could get inside this unit. In other words, if it's got a seal on it and all those screws that you have to get out, of course, you just said picking the lock would be the way to do it. Nevertheless, are you ignoring some key facts about the security and all this?
Not at all. We issued a lengthy and detailed technical report that talks about these issues. It's not that difficult to loosen 18 Phillips screws to get access to the machine.
Well, but you'd be kind of suspicious if you were there.
If you did it in the polling place.
Right.
But if you had access to the machine beforehand at any time for 3 or 4 minutes, you could loosen the screws. 1 minute if you could pick the lock.
All right. Also, that what they say, this is the same from Dave Bird, a virus was introduced to a machine that is never attached to a network by any standard academic or common sense. The study is unrealistic and inaccurate. You sort of addressed this, but say it one more time. Even though it's not networked, because these cards kind of get circulated around,
right.
the virus can
The virus
spread.
travels on the cards, and if this card gets put into another voting machine, that machine will be infected.
So what's the upshot? Can this be easily fixed?
It's not so easy to fix this. There are some precautions that can be taken. The most important one is to have a paper trail that the voter can verify themselves. So you know how you voted, it's there on paper, and the computer can't unprint the paper.
And as it stands right now, there is no paper backup, is there?
No, on this machine, there's really no viable paper backup. That's
All right. Thank you very much. Edward Felton with Princeton University. Appreciate your time. And if you want to see that full report, it's online at itpolicy.princeton.edu/voting. Did I get that right?
That's right.
All right. itpolicy.princeton.edu/voting.
.edu/voting.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.